Welcome to today's version of This Day in History, October 7th. We're going to cut to the chase and go straight back to 1780, the Battle of Kings Mountain. During the American Revolution, Patriot irregulars under Colonel William Campbell defeated Tories under Major Patrick Ferguson at the Battle of Kings Mountain in South Carolina. 1849, Edgar Allen Poe, age 40, dies a tragic death. You may remember a day or two ago that he was found in a delirious condition and taken to the hospital, and so it was that on this day in history he died. 1864, some Civil War news. Union and Confederate forces clash at the Battle of Darbytown Road. In 1885, Danish physicist and Nobel Prize laureate who expanded quantum physics, Niels Bohr, was born in Copenhagen, Denmark, on this day in 1885, and he lived to the age of 77. 1913. In attempting to find ways to lower the cost of the automobile and make it more affordable to ordinary Americans, Henry Ford took note of the work of efficiency experts like Frederick Taylor, the father of scientific management. The result was the assembly line that reduced the time it took to manufacture a car from 12 hours to 93 minutes. In 1943, Japanese execute nearly 100 American POWs on Wake Island. On October 7, 1943, Rear Admiral Shigematsu Sakibara, commander of the Japanese garrison on the island, orders the execution of 96 American POWs, claiming they were trying to make radio contact with U.S. forces. The execution of those American POWs remains one of the more brutal episodes of the war in the Pacific. 1949, East Germany created. Less than 5 months after Great Britain, the United States, and France established the Federal Republic of Germany and West Germany, the Democratic Republic of Germany is proclaimed within the Soviet occupation zone. Commonly described as a communist state in English usage, it described itself as Socialist Workers and Peasants State. 1949, Iva Toguri Dakino, better known as Tokyo Rose, was sentenced to 10 years in prison for treason. In 1952, Russian politician, former Prime Minister, and current President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, was born in Leningrad, Soviet Union, on this day in 1952. 1955, poet Allen Ginsberg reads Howl for the first time. Poet Allen Ginsberg read his poem Howl at a poetry reading at Six Gallery in San Francisco. The poem was an immediate success that rocked the beat literary world and set the tone for confessional poetry of the 1960s and later. 1957, a fire in the Windscale Plutonium production reactor north of Liverpool, England, spread radioactive iodine and polonium through the countryside and into the Irish Sea. Livestock in the immediate area were destroyed, along with 500,000 gallons of milk. At least 30, and possibly as many as 1,000 cancer deaths were subsequently linked to the accident. 1959, people on Earth get the first glimpse of the dark side of the moon. Soviet spacecraft Luna 3 took pictures of the far side of the moon. The images sent by the probe covered about 70% of the far side of Earth's natural satellite, and they were instrumental in helping astronomers make the first atlas of the dark side of the moon. The far or dark side of the moon is the side of the moon that cannot be seen from Earth because of the way the moon orbits around the Earth and rotates on its own axis. 1959, English recording executive and television producer Simon Cowell of the TV shows X Factor and American Idol was born in London, England on this day in 1959. So wow, he's younger than me. 1967, American singer-songwriter, producer, and actress Toni Braxton was born on this date in 1967. 1975, a New York judge reverses John Lennon's deportation order. A New York State Supreme Court judge reversed a deportation order for John Lennon, allowing him to remain legally in his adoptive home of New York City. In 1983, Sean Connery played James Bond in Never Say Never Again, starring again as the British Secret Service agent James Bond, a role he last played in 1971. The film's title referenced the fact that the Scottish-born actor had previously remarked that he would never play Agent 007 again. Never say never again. 1985, Palestinian terrorists hijack an Italian cruise ship. 4 Palestinian terrorists boarded the Italian cruise ship Achille Lauro shortly after it left Alexandria, Egypt, in order to hijack the luxury liner. The well-armed men easily took control of the vessel because there was no security force on board. 1996, Fox News broadcasts for the first time. The 24-hour news channel with the slogan Fair and Balanced was created by Australian-American businessman and media tycoon Rupert Murdoch. Today is one of the most watched news channels in the United States. Happy birthday, Fox News. 2001, war in Afghanistan begins. American and British troops began airstrikes against al-Qaeda and Taliban targets after the Taliban refused to hand over Osama bin Laden, the mastermind of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, and other al-Qaeda operatives to the United States. Nicknamed Operation Enduring Freedom, the military strikes were part of the so-called Global War on Terror. 2003, California voters removed Democratic Governor Gray Davis from office in the state's first successful recall of a sitting governor, only the second successful recall of a governor in U.S. history. Bodybuilder actor Arnold Schwarzenegger wins the election to replace Davis 17 days later. 2011, over 110 people are arrested in Queens, New York, as part of the largest identity theft and retail crime ring in U.S. history. 2012, Antisa Kvicheva, a Georgian woman believed to be the oldest woman of all time, dies at the age of 132. 132, wow. That's amazing. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us today on this day in history for October 7th. Thank you so much for watching. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes, along with a physical address if you'd like to send along a coffee mug. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And feel free to share this video if you found it interesting or informative. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. On October, okay, with the notifications. Okay.